when everybody on the internet started to generate these Midjourney pictures, we are not fascinated by them. We just scroll through them. We don't really look at them anymore. But if someone comes up with a really great idea that you haven't seen before, then you will stay, you will watch it, you will think about it.
What's new in filmmaking technology this week? News, reviews, education, insights, opinions, and ideas from the CineD newsroom with Nino Leitner and Johnnie Bahiri. This is Focus Check, the weekly CineTech podcast.
Hi guys, I'm Johnnie, and this is Focus Check, and I'm here today with one of our, should I say favorite, or should I say, Mascha Deikova. And Mascha she has been with us for quite some time now. She's a filmmaker. We're going to hear more from Mascha in a second. But she's also our AI specialist. Mascha, how are you?
Hi, Johnnie. Thank you. I'm very, very happy to be here. Yeah. And well, I wouldn't really call me AI specialist because it requires, like this kind of expertise. I'm not a girl who is training AI or something, but I'm really interested in different tools and of course also in AI tools because they continue to emerge over the last years.
Yeah, this is amazing. So in our conversation, what we will try to do, first of all, learn a little bit about you and what you do in life. Then move and talk about AI, because this is interesting and fascinating. And I think maybe the main thing that we will try to do is, should I say, to dismantle some fears and just get a reality check and so on. That can be quite interesting. Okay, Mascha, so a little bit about you. Who are you?
I'm Mascha. I used to be a journalist, so my journey begins at my journalist practice. And I worked a lot on different radios and different kind of off and online medias. And after some time, I decided that actually my passion lies in making videos and making films. So I left everything behind and I moved from Russia, where I was born, to Austria to study. And I studied filmmaking at University of Applied Sciences in Salzburg. And after that, I worked at different production companies. And now I'm a freelancer. I have a small production company of my own with two friends of mine. And I also write for CineD, which actually for me it's like combining two areas of my expertise, which is awesome because I can write about filmmaking, but also, of course, it's like my experience of how to write as a journalist, what matters here. So I was very, very happy when I joined you guys because it was like, wow, all the points, all the dots in my life have connected. Finally.
Are we talking about the same dots on the shirts? Those are the connecting dots?
Yeah, sure. They're not connected, but we'll connect them afterward.
Yeah. No, good. So as I said, when I said Mascha is one of our favorite writers, I meant you are one of those that will always take some of the most difficult tasks. And I have to say that this is, besides of course, it's very much appreciated, but we are also running MZ, which is a platform for filmmakers. And Mascha, sometimes you say, don't say nice and good things in front of people, but actually it's quite important to say next to Mascha. Mascha takes a lot of those subjects that we are talking about in MZ, how to do stuff. And obviously she has this talent to combine this information into a written piece of article, which is always engaging next to the AI stuff. But Mascha, so first of all, thank you very much. And I'm very happy to expose you to our audience. And it's always fascinating. And I'm very curious to see how we're going to grow together when it comes to MZ and when it comes to AI, of course. So what should we start to talk about? Your interest in AI, where did it come from?
Well, I think I'm generally really interested in tools and all kinds of tools and how I can take these tools and use them in my projects, how I can use them to make my concepts, for example, more engaging, more interesting, different. And because I believe that tools, they can also inspire ideas. And it's not only about AI, it's also, when I'm reading something about split diopter, for example, I'm also thinking, wow, how can I implement this tool in my films? is there any scene I can actually enhance using this tool? Is there, I don't know, maybe a story that is inspired by knowing this tool? Because for me, it's always about stories. It's always about ideas that lie at the core and not about the tools. But I also believe that tools can inspire those. And so when generative AI started to make some buzz around, maybe like 2 years ago when all these image generators came out, first Midjourney, I think, was the first image generator that I saw and that I used. It was like, wow, we have never seen anything like this before. We have never seen that computers, like technology, can generate something like this. And of course, it developed really quickly also. So I guess I feel some fascination, as you say, for absolutely different tools. And also when I go, for example, to a trade show and see new pieces of gear, or when I watch a breakdown of a particularly difficult VFX shot, for example, I always think, great, I never thought it is possible. So how can I use it? Is it applicable to my project? And also there is the second reason. We write a lot about AI and we see a lot of comments and we read comments actually. So please be kind to us. We read them all. And a lot of comments, not all of them, but a lot of comments, they have these fears that you talked about, and they have concerns. And some of them are really negative. But, we forget that AI is not only generative AI, not at all. And you use a lot of AI actually in your workflows already. So guys, think about, for example, automated captions. Do you remember how it was even, 3-4 years ago? How much time and effort did it take to listen to the whole 2-hour-long interview and to type each word in by hand? I remember it and I don't want to go back to it. I'm actually pretty happy that I can now click one button and then check the captions and it's all done, because now I have more time for other creative tasks. So I think that on one hand, AI is for me it's an interesting process of evolution also in our industry.
No, because you mentioned the negative comments. And we are sometimes really, really wondering. Let me just switch off the phone. That would be a wise thing to do. So we don't get any... It's quite amazing, those comments that we are getting sometimes, but I really want to believe that those comments it's a mixture of fear of the unknown. And you just talked about transcribing some, you know what? In the old days, my daughter, that's exactly what she used to do because of her language abilities for one of the broadcasters. She moved on in life. But I'm just saying, obviously, if she would have been still in this business, her job would have been cut. Yeah. So you looked at one side of this saying, okay, now it's freeing me to do some more creative work. But obviously there are some people that used to do this job and they lost the job. So the question is, if you are fearing, and the way you talked about AI up until now was more that AI will co-work with you together in order to help you. But aren't you concerned that this will replace us all? And when I'm saying replace us, what was that? 2 weeks ago, you were writing about some music platform that right now you can generate amazing music. I really dived into what you wrote and listened to some examples. That's unbelievable. Yeah. Maybe with music, it's a bit easier than video. But aren't you concerned that eventually it will replace us all?
Well, of course, I know this concern. And personally, yes, somewhere at the back of my mind, I always think about it. But at the same time, well, I think I'm more like an optimistic person in this regard, because I still believe that there is a big importance of having artistic touch. And it's always something that comes from you personally, from a person who creates. And for instance, with music generators, this example, companies, of course, they can decide if they go to a composer or if they use some different tools. For now, they can also go to a stock library and buy some music. They don't hire a composer for that. That doesn't mean that composers do not exist anymore, since stock music libraries exist. Because for me, like these two types of tools, like I don't want to call composers tools, but I hope you mean what I mean. These two variants, they're very different, and we use them for different kind of movies and for different kind of tasks. And yeah, of course, if I just need some funny or I don't know, maybe some epic music, and I don't have budget to hire a composer, I can go to a stock library and spend like 3 hours of searching for this music, or I can go to this AI music generator and type in some keywords and get something which maybe even a little bit different to stock music, so that nobody has it except for me. But this tool, it won't know your story. It won't think as a composer, because composers, they're also storytellers. They're people who think about, okay, how can I take this scene, take this feeling, take this emotion and capture it in my music? And there are a lot of approaches. I also wrote an article for our MZ education section about, for example, how composers sometimes mix sound design elements into their melodies. There was an example from Chernobyl series where they went to a plant, and they recorded like days of footage. Their composer, she really wanted just to hear and to get inspired by the feeling of atmosphere and how it hears, how you can listen to it, how you can feel it. And then they integrated these sounds into the final score, which is not something AI tool will do. Well, I don't see how it will be possible. Maybe I'm a little bit short-sighted. Some people write that I'm short-sighted, everything will happen. But then again, we cannot stop it. We will have to adapt. We will have to find our ways to integrate ideas. And if I may, I have one example of my favorite digital artist from my home city, from St. Petersburg. I think it's a great example. I know a lot of artists, when Midjourney came out, for example, or some different image generators, they were strictly negative from the get-go. They were like, no, it will steal our jobs. It is like stealing from us. But there were also artists who were like, okay, I'm intrigued by that. I would like to experiment with it. And Alex Andreev, that's the artist I want to show you, he was one of those. And it inspired me, actually, his approach. So what you've seen right now are just his normal pictures. So that's the kind of art he usually makes. So it's like a little bit cyberpunk, a little bit sci-fi, but also combining some cultural aspects from Russia in that case. He also makes like a lot of combinations of different ideas and how to put them into pictures. And when Midjourney came out, he started to experiment with it on Facebook and also post some of his results. Like no, it's also actually from him, but like this, for example, it's like, I think it's Midjourney version 4 even.
What is his art and what is Midjourney? I mean, where's the line here? Or there is no line? It's just a blended thing of both.
No, that's like everything that you've seen until now. These pictures, this is his art. So he was doing like the digital art naturally, but it's done by hand. And up here, for example, there's a picture that he created with Midjourney, just using his imagination and his concepts, or something like this, for example. These are like from older versions of image generator. But what I also found interesting about his approach is he wrote about it very transparently, that he believes only in one neural network in his head, which he has in his head. He was also always relying only on this network. And he sees new AI tools as tools, something that can help him to visualize his ideas. So he's welcoming that his art will be used to train the models, because he believes that it's like teaching. He teaches a lot of students. And in this case, okay, it's not students he's teaching, but machines. But still, he thinks machines also need a good base to be taught on. And he likes that his art is also in this base. And he also he doesn't sell these pictures like his own afterward. So he tweaks them. He takes Midjourney's output and he changes, for example, a part of an image. Or he takes only a part of an image and makes a brush out of it. As a digital artist, he works, for example, a lot with brushes. And it's also a question, is it then art if he works with like ready-made brushes or not? I believe it is, because it's his ideas that matter. He has ideas and he tries to visualize them, and there are different tools they can be visualized. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to go into any legal aspects here in the sense of what he's using from Midjourney, if it's copyrighted or not, or all of those things. Obviously, this artist is trying to live alongside AI and kind of reinvent himself in order to help him to express his own artistic feelings and whatever. That's good. But, in a way, I want to make a kind of a clear definition between the big studios and individuals like us when it comes to productions. Because obviously, we don't know yet the cost of some of those tools, and we can talk about video, we can talk about music. Some probably will be for free, some will cost. Maybe the overall pricing will be different. But when it comes to big studios who obviously have much more money, much more capabilities, do you think they will be the first to adopt this kind of workflow, or actually us, the independent filmmakers who don't have the budget, will look for solutions?
Let's take a quick break, and here's a message from our sponsors. FilmConvert is a software company based in New Zealand that creates color grading and correction plugins so you can enhance your artistry. With their two plugins, FilmConvert Nitrate and Cinematch, you can take the stress out of any color correction or grading task. Both plugins work their unique camera packs, as the team profiles each specific camera and its sensor that's supported. This means that the controls within the plugin are tailored to the specific camera brand, model and profile that your footage was shot with. While we all love shooting on film, the process and cost of actually shooting film can get quite exorbitant. However, you can get the dreamy and romantic look of celluloid film with FilmConvert Nitrate. Nitrate offers a range of different film stock emulations and grain sizes to choose from, each with customizable controls that you can really dial in your desired look. Choose from one of Nitrate's motion picture, black and white or still stock emulations, and a range of different grain scans to get the authentic look and feel of film. You can get 10% off FilmConvert Nitrate when you use the code CineD at checkout. And now back to the show.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question and the biggest fear that I also share. And it's not, it has some base to it, it has some reason to it, because we already witnessed some cases. I don't know, maybe when I started writing about AI, there was like this case when Japanese Netflix used like a generated background to, I think, it was just like backgrounds that they generated, and then they put characters inside the animation. But still, it was like, okay, where does it start? Where does it stop? And now, for example, I think Omri, my colleague, he wrote an article not so long ago about Sony Pictures. We can, I think, embed it, where, like they mentioned they will use AI going forward in their approach to making movies, because that's the way they can leverage costs. And they didn't really elaborate, they didn't go into the detail, but it's something that I think everybody is scared of, that big production companies will just use AI instead of human artists, because they probably will be the only ones that can afford these tools. That's another question of budget, a question of cost. We can go into it afterward. And I think, that's not, I do share this fear, for sure. And I think that it's actually the point where we, and also organizations that work on ethical questions and on restrictions, should find some point how to regulate it. Because, I don't know. I'm also not sure if the quality of these productions, at least at this point, will be good enough to compare with what human artists can create. Even, for example, in the realm of visual effects. I mean, like visual effects is, for example, also something a lot of movies, 70% based on completely CGI shots, and they don't need cinematographers on set anymore. They have cinematographers who animate cameras in CG. Yeah. But
I think we have to look at a trend, probably, and not at a specific thing. In all honesty, I think maybe that sounds more like a conclusion, but AI is here to stay. This is nothing that we will be able to block, avoid, and so on. I think both of us are sharing the... we would love to see this regulated to the point that we know exactly that what we are looking at is being generated and it's not a real thing. And at the same time, with our knowledge, as you said at the beginning, still we're probably far away from generate feelings. And that's maybe the main thing here. And also when you look at what can you do if AI really catch up in filmmaking, what areas might it catch and what areas or what niches we can still target ourselves in order to work and earn money. So obviously, there's enough types of productions, from documentaries to weddings to divorces, whatever you want to film, that can be still be done with us together, like us professionals, and not rely on AI. Yeah, but do you have a plan B for yourself in case that AI really go crazy?
That's a very good question, Johnnie. No, I don't. I don't actually. I won't change the industry, that's for sure. I think I will find a way, because I still believe that, all stories in this life, as they say, we're already told. There are like a number of stories, and all these stories we're already told. What we humans do, we recite these stories, but we always add something to them. Our own personal touch, our own experience, because we all are individuals. That's why actually you cannot tell, two people cannot tell one story the same, you know what I mean? And that's why I still believe there will be always needed this human touch to the story, so that it means something to someone, so that someone can refer to it actually. Because for now, at least for now, AI generates very, I would say, generic stuff, and you will have to work a lot with it and train a lot your tools so that they can actually maybe speak using your own voice. You know what I mean? Like in film stuff, in camera stuff, and everything. Yeah. So
I have to say it's good, because the more I hear about it and the more I try to dive into this, the less that I'm concerned, in all honesty, at least for now. This is not being blind. It's more about, I think we are kind of, we know our strength as creators. We know it will come. We know that it's not there yet. And it's kind of, it's fine to call live with this. And really, like personally, I think what for me, what I might use in the future will be some sort of music, maybe, if it's suits my needs. But that's, again, it's not in order to save money, because I have to say that many of those services that we're using right now, like audio or Epidemic Sound, they are kind of affordable. That's not where you're going to cut budget, because the yearly plans are so good. And we know that they have a lot of very good artists, very talented people that are contributing for those platforms. So I'm still to define where it's going to help us in terms of cost, if at all. We also know that when it comes to writing content for the site, this is a different aspect of our job, of course, because it's not filmmaking, but it's more contributing and writing to the site. We are not there at all. I mean, this is zero interest in doing this. I hope you will agree with me.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I compare it to. It depends on what kind of work you do, probably, on what kind of person you are. But I even try to write my emails so that they're engaging and that they're personal, and that people, when they read them, they actually can imagine me writing them, And for some people, they hate writing emails, so they just go to ChatGPT and ask this large language model to create something for them. And but then these emails are impersonal, they don't have this touch. And also, I don't really want AI to do this job for me, So it's not like I want to give away what makes me most joy in my career, So that's why when I write, I want to write myself, because it's what makes me happy. And when I make films, I want to make them myself. Of course, there are clients, for example. Someone asked me at a conference where I also made a lecture about AI tools. Someone asked, yeah, but don't you think all the clients will try to spare budgets and go, buy these AI tools and then generate all the videos themselves instead of going to the video productions? And yeah, it's a fair point. Of course they can do it. But there are also clients who now don't want to pay a cinematographer. They just buy lots of stock footage shots and then cut them together somehow and put some stock music below it and export it and use it. But that's not kinds of projects that I personally want to do anyway. I don't want to make stock footage films. And if they want to do it, of course, but will these projects and these films appeal to their audience? I don't think so. So
yeah, I think what I would respond to such an comment from a person, say, and whom are you going to complain to? The AI tool? I mean, but that's just a side note. Yeah, no, Mascha, I think the danger will come from the big productions, because those are constantly looking how to cut budget. Yeah. I don't think that us independent production filmmakers, we might adopt some stuff, but yeah, this is kind of clear. The revolution will come from, as Nino once said, probably we are not that far away from our all AI generative film or something that will kind of shake the industry to the point that like, oh, it can be done, and of course others will follow.
Don't you think that it's actually it's happening anyway, cutting the budgets and looking for the cheap stuff instead of making something really great? And on the other hand, there are independent creators who actually now already can make really great movies on a small budget instead of going to big production companies. I love this example of The Creator movie. Maybe you've seen it, you've watched it. It's a sci-fi movie that plays completely in the future. And they shot the whole movie on Sony FX3 because they said, okay, it's enough. We can shoot it on this camera. We don't need like an ARRI or something. And at the same time, I saw an interview with the director, Gareth Edwards is his name. And he talks a lot about creative choices and the budget, and how to decide what you do. Because, for example, they went to different countries. The movie plays in Asia. So they went to different countries and found sets and filmed everything on set, on location. And then they inserted this AI. It's actually, the movie is ironically about AI. So they inserted all the robots and AI machines and effects afterwards. And he talks in this interview about, of course, we could have rented a volume or like a big virtual production, but it costs a lot of money. Like, I don't know, one day, $50,000. I don't know how much it costs, but let's imagine. And he says, okay, for $50,000, I can take my small crew and go for 1 week to Japan, I don't know, somewhere, or to China and shoot it there. And then we can actually see everything. And the movie, it's very, very special because it feels very authentic, although it plays in the future. But he just filmed people, and you see in the movie like someone, like an old Asian man sitting on a beach in his head and smoking a cigarette. And next second, he turns around and you see like this AI mechanism rotating in his ear instead of his ears. But it feels so authentic because he just filmed this man and captured this exact moment on location. So I think also this budget question, on one side, yes, but big production companies will definitely find a way to use AI and artificial intelligence to cut the costs and to make big fat movies. But I don't believe that independent cinema and other arts of movies will die because of that. There are still directors who film on a film camera. They didn't just go away because we have digital cameras and because everybody has a camera in his pocket right now, So maybe it's like an optimistic view, but I still have this feeling okay, of course, they can do it if they want, and we will have to adapt. We will find our ways how to use these low-budget tools to create great movies, and don't use AI if we don't want to.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, and I think one thing to note is that the equipment itself is nothing when it comes to productions like the cost of it is really it's nothing. So it doesn't matter if it's a ARRI or FX3. I mean, it's of course one camera might be more expensive, but per day rental wise, but that's nothing within the whole production. But going to places instead of using, I of course I'm in favor of the idea. Although in Hollywood sometimes they do things a little bit different, but that's of course everybody is happy and that's good. Good, Mascha. Yeah. Anything else about AI? Because I think we try to talk a little bit about how it feels for us. In all honesty, I'm a bit more relaxed, even more relaxed after this conversation. Good to see that I'm not the only one who thinks that it will come, but it's not there yet, and we still have to depend on our senses, on our expertise and our professionalism in order to move on and do the things that we like to do.
Yeah.
But if you want to say something before we end up this friendly conversation, of course, I'm very happy to hear.
Yeah, maybe like a few words about Sora and video generators, because they create a lot of buzz these days, and they also, of course, fall under all these fears and concerns that we talked about. But first of all, I heard this phrase somewhere, I don't know where, but I really like it. When anyone in the world can do it, then it doesn't have that much meaning anymore. So what's scarce has meaning, And that's why when everybody on the internet started to generate these Midjourney pictures, we are not fascinated by them. We just scroll through them. We don't really look at them anymore. But if someone comes up with a really great idea that you haven't seen before, then you will stay, you will watch it, you will think about it. That's the same I feel about Sora. When everybody just starts to generate these videos, if it will be affordable at all, we don't know. But still, if it is affordable and everybody will start creating them, then at some point we will be just saturated with them. We will be like, okay, it doesn't matter. It's just like Sora generated video. It's nothing to it. But if filmmakers, creators will find their ways to be creative about this tool and find some core inside it, how to make it special, how to make it meaningful, then it doesn't really matter, I think, except we are talking about, of course, ethical reason and everything. It doesn't really matter if they did it with their camera or a phone or tools. Tools doesn't matter. So that's the first thing. And the second one is I also don't believe that Sora will be that much, or maybe I'm mistaken, but it won't be an easy tool to use. It isn't right now. And creators who share their first works, because it's not out to the public, but some creators got better access to it. They share their works, and afterwards there was an interview where they told people that they invested a lot of effort into tweaking these videos afterward, into getting the shot in the first place, and then they had to go and mask out stuff that didn't work. They had to put something inside, and the time to generate these shots, it was so huge that I imagine people will have to have really huge servers to use this tool, a lot of time as well, and also they will have to tweak it. And then I think, is it worth it? Or maybe I should just go to some cinematographer in my city and hire him or her and go with them on a shoot and, I don't know, make something beautiful instead of all this effort. So that's 2 points that I wanted to give you. But I'm actually genuinely curious about, you said you're not afraid. You're very relaxed about it. But what do you think will documentary, for example, as you told, be like a more the kind of filmmaking that a lot of people will transition into?
I tell you, it's a matter of almost like learning by doing. We, in our short life, already went through several revolutions in our industry, and one of those was really the DSLR revolution. And I remember clearly how so many people either dismissed the technology. On the other hand, there was some fear, and that's how actually CineD, or at that time Cinema 5D, was born, based on people wanted to know more, which is legit. So we've seen this revolution, and I want to believe that we all came out a bit stronger because we were able, as users, and also actually the companies, we all earned here in the sense of democratizing the access to equipment to tell stories. So that's one thing. And now we are on the eve of another revolution, that's with smartphones. So again, we can dismiss smartphones altogether, or just to understand what is the strength of that type of tool exactly, and how can I use it to tell my story in whatever way. And just panicking will not help here. And it's the same with AI. I guess at the end, many of us will use some sort of aid to help us with our productions. And maybe it will be to the point, as you said, if customers will just kind of shift into AI, it might be that they will be burned quite fast and see that maybe that's not what they wanted, or maybe they have nobody to talk to after service and so on, because we know how it is. When we edit, we try to guarantee that we do our best to serve a client. That means the client can always come back and say, can you please change this a little bit? And you say, okay, up to 2-3 times I can do this, whatever. Mm-hmm. So there are many aspects. It's not only about telling the story, it's also about service before and after. And we know that there is no substitute right now to this personal touch. Also, when we are talking to our clients, when we are talking to our colleagues, and so on. So panicking in general, it's not my way, but I see that you are also the same in the sense of, okay, we'll see, we learn, we study, we take the strength, try to implement it, and move on. And documentary will not be replaced by AI anytime soon.
Sure.
This is too much. We're talking about stories, about real people, real stories, real emotions. So I'm not concerned here.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, Mascha, thank you very much. I mean, it was really a pleasure to talk to you and just go a little bit out of our own bubble in the sense of ping-ponging ideas and more to hear from the outside what you think about those things, because you are obviously much more knowledgeable than me. You are really much more into this. And guys, what can I say? Write us and leave some comment. Are you afraid? Are you concerned? Are you optimistic? Are you don't care at all? Where are you in this AI journey? Yeah? And just share with us your comment. Mascha, thank you.
Thank you, Johnnie. Thank you so much. Also, I would be very pleased to hear what other people in our comments have like a plan B. Maybe it will get me inspired as well. So please share it with us as well.
Share also if you have a plan B, of course. Good. This is Focus Check for this week. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. And we are in all the platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Yeah, we are everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Thank you, guys.